Hey everyone, so today I'll be going over sheets and views in Revit. So in order to do that, I've pulled up an old model that I used for a studio project. And we'll be talking about the difference between views and sheets. So the main thing to keep in mind is that sheets are mostly used for printing and views are little portals created or workspaces created that can be placed onto sheets or dragged. And the main thing to keep in mind is that only one view can be placed on one sheet at a time. So you can place multiple views on one sheet, looks like. So here on my right, I've already set up different views that are little portals into this main model. So for instance, I've got floor plans, ceiling plans, 3D views, elevations, and sections, and drafting views. Now, the way to separate between those is if I right-click on my views and I've got all the views set up. And the way I can kind of start to differentiate that is through discipline, phase, type, not on sheets, so on and so forth. And then I add filters too, but I won't be doing that just to keep it simple, but just so you know that that's an option. So here on floor plans, I've got it set up. One thing that I'll just show you to get a quick understanding. I've named all the subsettings of my floor plans, EX first floor, EX second floor, EX third floor. That is done specifically so that I can coordinate with my sheets. As you see down here, I've named them accordingly just so that I can be organized. That's the best thing about Revit, is that just by naming things a certain way, it automatically creates a system that organizes the interface so it's easy to interact with and saves you a lot of time. When the file gets really large or you doing multiple projects at a time, you can quickly go in here and see just by the way you named how things relate to each other. Okay, so back to the floor plans. If I right-click on floor plans, over here on my properties tells you everything that I need. So here's the floor plans, and it's a 3D view, but 3D view 2, it's not named correctly because it's a floor plan. So what I can do under here, I can go edit type, I could duplicate the view, name it EX second or exterior viewport, or however you want to. Hit OK, hit OK. And as you see, I've created a whole new category called 3D Views X Exterior Viewport. But I don't want that because I've already created it, and what I'm going to do, I'll just leave it there for now. Anyway, up here under floor plans, I've got the subcategory set up because these correspond to levels. So if I click on a first floor plan, it takes me to the first level. And as you see here, I've created a bounding box. This is right here on my properties. If I check this, uncheck this, it should go away. I don't want it to go away. So I click back on the title, X first floor plan. I go back here, crop view, crop region. It brings back my box. So here I can edit this before I take it into the view for printing so that, again, it's efficient, it minimizes presentation control, or adds presentation control, and makes things easier for me. So some other things that you can do on view is you can mess with the scale of it. So over here, and there's multiple places to do something in Revit, just so you know. Over here, I can go 130 seconds, and it changes it, and you can see the text became all wonky, so I don't want to do that. But another place I could change the scale is right down here. It says 1/16. I click on it, and I can change it to half. Again, changes my text way wonky. Don't want to do that. Control Z, and it takes you back to what it initially was. So that's part of the view. Another thing that I can do under a view is edit the visibility graphics. Right here is called visibility graphics. I click on edit, and it takes me to this whole thing. Now, sometimes if you're not used to it, this can be very kind of overwhelming, but understand Revit is very good at organizing things, and there are multiple places to find something, so don't feel lost. It's very easy to understand just by reading and just by naming how things work in Revit. So up here, I've got model categories, annotation categories, analytical models, important categories, and filters. So all this is saying is that all these specific categories, I can check, uncheck, and in this specific view, it will hide those things or show specific things. So let's say I wanted to hide furniture systems, and floors. I check all those things, I hit apply so that I can see, and then hit OK. And so what happens is it creates a different visibility graphic in this view so that all those floors, all those things I checked are gone. But I don't want to do that because this is a working model and I want to keep that. So another thing, that's visibility. So literally thinking about what's visible in this view versus what is actually modeled there. I have control over that. Another thing that you can do is the graphic display. If I click on edit, I can start messing with the line weights and how things look. And I can start adding shadows if I wanted to, or sketchy lines. Oh, this is messing. Shadows, this is so slow. Cast shadows. I hit apply, and there it is. So this graphic display option is specific to the EX first floor plan. I can go into a different view in a different floor plan and edit the graphic display that will be specific to that view. So that's very nice about Revit because I don't have to go around and if I wanted to create something different for the first, second, I have that option. Or if I wanted to do a template, you can go down here. It says identity data, view template. Click on it, and these are some presets: architectural plan, site plan, structural framing plan. I can create my own by duplicating a certain plan. If I hit duplicate, enter new, so presentation 2. And then here I can also edit the scale. I could change a wide range of things. Let's see, 3/16. And just so you know, the view template is the boss of every other portal or every other section where you can change this. So down here, if I change the scale, it will not do it because I've set up a view template that overrides all other commands. But if I wanted to, I could create all those overrides within the system, but I don't want to get into that. Detail level, I can make it medium, coarse, or fine. Coarse is fine for now. Display mode, normal, halftone, or do not display. So you've got a wide range of things. You guys can play around and mess with them, add the shadows here or in the visibility graphics or the graphic display. It really depends on how you work and how you want to set up efficiency or time management for yourself. It's all about understanding that there are multiple places to do these things and that they all correlate to each other. So we can also edit a view range. So but that means where the cut planes is. So if I wanted 2 feet off the associate level, which is the first floor plan, 1 foot cut plane, 4 feet from the second floor. And then it gives you right there. So there's so many things that you can edit in views to create specifically what you want to present to a client. And then from that view, you can put it on the sheet and print it off there. And there you go. You have a whole system in place that makes printing and presenting graphic standards quite easy. So let's take a look at a second floor plan. It looks completely different because I edited the first floor plan to look different. See, you've got the shadows and it's rendered. This is rendered too, but in a different way. In a different way, let me explain how exactly. So this is rendered, meaning it shows the materials that I've applied. Here it's more of a flat plane. Even though it is BIM, I can add regions. And a fill region is under annotate. There it is. This is a 2D construct. That's the best thing about Revit for me, is that you can model things in 3D and also layer 2D line work or filled regions. That way, if you need to quickly represent something, instead of taking like 30 minutes to model it, you can just draw a couple of lines and there you go. So here we've got ceiling plans. Oh, look at that mess. Do I want to see that? No, I don't want to see that. So I can click on crop view, crop region. I don't really need to see all this line work for a ceiling plan. And sometimes when it's not there, that means it's out of range. So there's my box. Click on it, drag it in to where I want it to. Whatever the building is. Ooh. Sorry about that. And there it is. Again, you can go and edit these to look however you want to. This is an imported CAD file, and right now it's not doing anything for me. So if I right click, hide in view, elements, oh, click the wrong thing, hit tab, there it is, right click, hide in view, elements, and it hides the link to CAD. And if I go down here, click on this light bulb, it shows you everything that's hidden. If you click on the object that you want to be revealed, you can go up here and unhide element. To me, I think that's fine, so I'm just gonna exit out of this mode. But this is all specific to a view. So I can do anything I want to this view, and if I wanted to duplicate it, I right click, duplicate view, and there's 3 options. So I can duplicate just by itself, duplicate with detailing, or duplicate as a dependent. So duplicate with detailing means that I drag everything that I've created onto the new sheet. Duplicate means I just duplicate the view, and duplicate as a dependent, I'm not quite sure. It creates another subcategory. I've never done that one before, but let's just get rid of it. So here I've got the view for the ceiling plans, and then these are all orthogonal drawings. Now the thing with the view, it can also be 3D. So here I go to 3D view 1, and this is an interior perspective. You could do that too in Revit. It doesn't have to all be floor plan or section or elevation. I could have views that are set up to be 3D and dimensional. And I've got an axon here, but was an axon, it's not quite working. But if I don't like the 3D view, I can always right click and I can delete it. Right click and delete is good to sort of kind of clean up when you create so many views. It becomes the Revit file becomes very heavy. But if I lose a view that I didn't want to, I can go back up here, right click, click on the home and it takes you home. And then from here I can begin to setting up different views or trying to recreate the last one. If you lose something you don't want to, Alt Control Z, that's your best bet. So anyway, to create a interior view, what I have to do first is go under the first floor plan, go back up here to my 3D icon, right click, go to camera, and from camera, this little camera pops up. You see my mouse, and there I can set it any place that I want it to. If I set it here, click once, and it allows me to give it a range, so how far back I want the view to go. If I click there, it takes me to this view. It's a 3D view, and it labels it for me, 3D view 4 right there, but it's a perspective view. And as you can see, I can edit this box so that I get a wide range of the lens. I can edit the lens. This is what this box is doing. And you can see, because this is an active view portal, I can click on things and edit them, add materials, and make it look however I want. So you see there's this CAD file that's kind of in the way. I don't really want to see it there. I can try clicking on it, but it's not going to let me. Zoom in. Anyway, we can edit that in a different view. Not seeing the CAD. But let's say I want to get rid of that person. I can click on him, go here, edit the type, and put in a different type of entourage. So all these things are editable under the view that you create for yourself. That's the best thing about Revit too. I really like that different elements are not stuck to a certain orthogonal view. It's BIM. Because you've modeled it, you have an opportunity to edit it however you want in the process of design. So here's some elevations I've set up. Now elevations, it gives you the floor plans, the levels. So these, you can rename these here, edit the range by double clicking, so EX third floor. I've set it up so that it is organized under my floor plans a certain way so that it's easy for me to look at it and understand, but you do that however you want. It is up to you. Again, here on my properties, I could change the scale. I've got the ability to do that in multiple places. I could change the scale here under properties, or go down here at these little icons, click, and then change the scale over there. I could change the detail level. I can make it coarse, medium, or fine. And all that does is just refine the level of detailing so that it can make it easier or harder to read the model. It's an elevation, it's not quite as important, but when you get to section cuts, that can be quite important. Okay, so another thing you can do under view is change the visual style. So right now I've got it as hidden line, but I can go shaded, so it adds the sun. I can do realistic, which makes it rendered. I don't have any materials set, so that's why it looks all gray. So I'm just going to keep it at hidden line. Okay, so I've got the sections here set up as well. It's all messy. There's that drawing. So under this view, what I do, I can right click, hide in view, elements, and that whole thing goes away. But again, it goes away in this specific view. It can still be visible in all the other views because that is how I've set up the subsets for the floor plans, the ceilings, the views, and elevations. Again, here we've got the levels, so just know that if you get lost, here you can see how the floor plans work. And you can add that information however you want. When we get to the sheets, I will show you where that shows up. Okay? So legends. Legends are tricky. They're different than just a floor plan, a ceiling plan that is already built into Revit. So legends, it's literally a blank sheet where you can edit anything you want. You see, it's just white space. There you can add text. Look how tiny that is because it's 1/2 scale. All right. Ooh, so slow. But anyway, you can do legends. You can rename them as lighting legend. Oops. Lighting legend. Can't spell. Okay. Lighting legend, furniture legend, or whatever you want that's helpful to place on a sheet to give you more information or to give the viewer more information. Here on my right, again, always remember, on my left, I've got the properties panel that edits all the subsets that are specific to the category of views versus legends versus schedules. They all look different. Okay, so let's move on to sheets. So remember how I named my views EX first floor plan? Well, I've named my sheets EX 100 site plan, EX 101 ground floor plan, so on and so forth. That is so that I can be organized in the way that I interface with Revit as a program. So I click on first floor plan. There is my view. It is placed on this sheet. So one thing that I can do sometimes if I get lost if I have 100 sheets and I don't remember what view I placed on what sheet, I right click on the view, and I go open sheet. And it brings you to the sheet. I didn't really do anything, so let's try a different one. Second, open sheets, and it opened up the sheet. So here it is. This one looks weird to me. I don't really like the way it's set up. The view is too large for the sheet, and the sheet doesn't have any information. So what I can do is I can double click inside the view, and that automatically activates the portal. So as I click on the outside box, this is my crop region. I can start to edit that. I can bring that in so that it aligns within my sheet, so that nothing is left out when I print. Everything is confound to the sheet because that is the size that will be going to the printer. So if I click on the outside, I deactivate the view, and I can edit the sheet now if I wanted to. So I click on the sheet, and back to my properties panel, I have all of these criteria or these inputs that I can set up for myself. So it tells you the sheet name, it tells you the sheet number, I can edit that, the author, the checker, designer, approver. These are not visible because the way the title blocks is set up is not working for me. So what I can do under the properties panel, I've got all these other sheets loaded. I can click on something else, bada bing, bada boom, there it is. So here is my view on a different sheet. And if I wanted to make for now, each sheet has its own parameter and I have to change it for all of them. But we can't change that for now, so we just go in, edit the types, and work with what we've got. Again, if I click inside the portal, I can go back, start editing all the different things, shaded, it changes the view as shaded. And so if I go back, this is the roof floor plan, and if I forget what view this is, I can go under the sheets, click on the plus mark, and it'll tell you which one it is. So it's a floor plan EX roof. I can come back up here, go on the roof, and see it's edited to the way I edited under the sheets. So it corresponds, it creates like a little portal. But if I didn't want to do that, Control Z goes back to the way it was. Back to first floor plan and to 3D view. So here is the 3D view of my model, and right here at the top of this corner is this little box that kind of helps me create certain views. So if I want it front, this is the front, it centers it so that it creates an elevation. If I wanted the back or the right, there's the right. If I want to go to the back, there's the back, and then there's the left. If I wanted an axon, I would click at this corner so that I get an axon view. If I didn't like it, if I want to change it, it's not showing what I want it to, I can go up here and it rotates the model. Again, this is a view under the 3D views. This is the main model. So if I edit something like, I want to hide that. I want to hide in view, but I don't want to lose this information. I could go under 3D views. I could go under the properties, edit type, create a different portal, a different subsetting under the 3D views, and you can duplicate that. If you don't like what you have, EX axon. Okay. So there it is. It's a 3D view, it's an axon. So if that's the way I want to organize my views, that's how I do it. If not, just stick to floor plan, ceilings, 3D views, sections, elevations. Again, even within this 3D view, the main 3D view, there it is. I have options. I can edit the visibility graphics. If I go here, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is just something that allows you to delete or hide like specific details of the model. So if I want to lose the furniture or the floors, I uncheck those and I hit apply and it hides them for me. But I don't, and you've got different categories, annotations, model categories, or imported categories for like those CAD files and what have you. I don't want to mess with that because it's already the way I want it to be. So I exit out. Graphic display, again, I can change it from hidden line, which we had over here under these icons. I can edit that under this view. Exit out. And scope box. There's no scope box, so I can do section box if I wanted to. Again, this is like that crop region, but for specific to 3D, and it starts cutting things so that I've got all these floor plans shown, and it's easy to see and understand how the inner workings of the building is set up. If I didn't want that, I can click on the box, or it won't go away. Exit, uncheck this section box, and it'll go away. Or I could have hidden it, up to you. There's multiple ways to do multiple things in each view. And if I wanted to do a template, I would click on the template. I've got some already set up. So this overrides any and all outputs set up by the properties because the template is king. Whatever you set up here will take precedence over anything that you do over here. So let's say I change the shadows. I hit edit, show ambient shadows, apply, okay. Then there it is. That view template changed all these things that I had set up for an architectural presentation, but I don't really want that. It doesn't look as nice to me, so I can go back here, hit none, hit apply, hit OK. and it didn't throw it away. Let's see. Let's go hidden line. Go back to there. Sometimes Revit is just a little weird. Shadows on, shadows off. There it is. So that is how the views and sheets work. Let me show you real quickly what happens when multiple sheets are placed. Not the set plan. Let's go back to floor plan. Multiple sheets are placed, multiple views are placed on one sheet. So I've got this sheet here, and I've got this view placed on this sheet. If I have enough space and I wanted to do the second floor plan, look at what happens. I get this error message. This view is already placed on that sheet, therefore I cannot place it here. So what I can do, I can right click, duplicate view, duplicate with detailing, and then there it is. I can go back to my sheet, or the first floor plan, click on the duplicated view, it says copy one, drag it over, and it's placed. Now, it's not placed, it's not named correctly to the system that I have set up, but it works. If I want to do something quickly, functionally, I could just duplicate it and I have it. So I can kind of like eyeball this, make it look, it's not overlapping. And I could set up multiple views on one sheet and print this off. And if I wanted to, I've got the lighting legend. I've got another error message because I didn't actually place any text in the lighting legend. But let's say this was like a ceiling plan or something. I can add all that information onto the sheet. And then from here, I could go File and print the sheets. I'll print, I get this, and then you all know all these settings, preview, printing text setup, and I go on from there. And that is how you work views and sheets in Revit. Thank you.